All right, guys, how are we doing today? Steve Mingleco, Final Web Design, and in today's video, I want to talk about the business lawsuit I got myself into and how you can hopefully prevent yourself from getting in the same situation. So let's get into it. Final Web Design, this is Steve. All right, guys. So this is kind of a personal video because it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever gone through as a business. But I'm gonna talk to you about it. So hopefully, if you do have a web firm or if you're working in a business, you can hopefully prevent these type of situations. So let's go all the way back to about 2015, 2016. We had a growing business in Miami. Things were going pretty good. We had a client from West Palm Beach, very, very rich client. I mean, we're talking multi-millionaire client. And they essentially wanted to build a online dating website, right? So basically, social media network. And the project, to say the least, I really thought from our perspective as a business, things were done pretty well. However, we were a younger business at the time. Again, this was 10 years ago, 8 9 years ago, and we took on this project and we knew that we could do it, but at this stage, again, we had not been through anything this big. That was our fault. That's where we had made the mistake, in the fact that we had never essentially built something to this level. We got pretty good, and I can maybe include some pictures and screenshots of how the website looked. It actually turned out very nice, all said and done. Now, were there some issues? Yes, there were some things, but as the client had kind of changed things along the way as well. Like, things would kind of get developed, and then they'd have an idea. Oh, we want to, time this chat, or we want to make sure they can only limit so many people they talk to before they're being billed. So it was a complicated build. This wasn't your standard, oh, we'll just throw together a 5-page informational website. No, this was a complicated social media build. And we had help. We had some internal help. We had some external help. I was doing a lot of the project management. I was doing a lot of the meetings with the client. I was basically essentially running the project management for everything. And when I had to, I'd get in there and do some of the development. Well, what ended up happening is we essentially launched the website. Client was pretty happy up until the launch. I mean, we never really had a bad meeting. We were always, together on top of it. The communication was great. But what happened was he had his two sons running the business. And the dad was the one that was a multimillionaire. His kids were just, our age. They were younger. They were learning business themselves. However, they were kind of these, trust fund kids that had everything handed to them on a silver platter. So essentially, we got into the actual launch of the website, and I don't really know what they expected, but they thought that you just turn these things on and you got thousands of users spending money all day. And that was where the issues really started to arise. So we launched the website and they couldn't get as many people on the website maybe as they expected. We were doing a lot of Google ads. They were going out with tablets and getting people to register and sign up. So we started to build this user base. And, it was maybe a month or two after the launch that things just fell apart overnight. I don't exactly know what happened, but I think that they saw the expenses that were going to be included to maintain this website, to continue to grow and market this website, and to continue to make this, a real online dating website. I mean, you look at the Match.com or at the time it was Plenty of Fish, and I don't think that there was a Tinder back then, but similar application. Well, we got, a few hundred people to sign up, and this was a month or two of marketing. And all of a sudden, one day, things just fell off. Like, communication basically ended. Everything was, put on a standstill. So we still sent our bill because at the end of the day, we were still doing our part. And there had been a contract driven up that basically said, we'll do so much every month to monitor this. And we were doing our part. Well, they weren't having that anymore. Maybe they just realized the costs were too expensive. So they basically started saying, well, you guys didn't do this and you guys didn't do that and we didn't get what we expected. It was like, yo, I mean, we can go down this road if that's what you want to play, but like, we got meeting pictures from last week where everybody's sitting around having coffee at the office, loving, what's happening. So I wasn't too worried about it, but again, we were a younger company. So I really wanted to avoid lawsuit. I really wanted to avoid going to court. I really wanted to avoid problems. I really just wanted to separate if that's how they were going to be. And they had done some shady stuff in the contract too, like giving us dilutable shares. And we had a contract that they were going to pay us, I believe it was like $5,500 a month to continue to update and maintain it. So they had to, meet their end of the contract too. Well, communication basically ends. I'm actually at my personal house on Miami Beach, and I get served papers for the business that they're bringing a lawsuit. Well, that started about a 2-year process. And during this process, because they were such rich multimillionaire clients, I was scared. I was like, they could play this game forever. They could run us through the ringer. So this part I lucked out on is that my ex-girlfriend at the time, girlfriend kind of, we were ending things, but we were still friends. We wouldn't have any hate towards each other. She was a lawyer in Fort Lauderdale. She was barred in the state of Florida. And she saved me because she's like, oh yeah, let's go at this too. So they didn't know. And she was at one of the best law firms in the South Florida area. So we countersued. We sent them the paper. That's when I think they woke up and were like, uh-oh, we're in a situation too now where ultimately we're going to have to probably pay them because there's a contract. I mean, this wasn't like we had messed up and they had no idea. Long story, the lawsuit pursuits, basically, they want all the discovery. We give them everything, all the emails, all the communications, all the, UI concepts, all the development, the server, basically everything that's needed. And when all said and done, they wanted basically all the money. They wanted the lawyers. No. We're not doing that. So I had my lawyer countersue them. And once we got to the stage where we wanted the discovery, we wanted all their text messages. I mean, you got to think, this guy's a multimillionaire with some kids, not kids, but we were young adults, countersuing them now, trying to get all their bank information, all their communications, all their, internal shady stuff that they were probably into. And that's when they basically shut the fuck up because they didn't want to keep going from there. So they sent one thing that said, hey, we'll end this all if you guys pay like $3,000. No, we've been through this for 2 years now. We're going to go forward. Then they said, all right, well, we'll just end it if you just end it, no legal fees. That's where I said, all right. That's all I wanted from day one anyways, was to just separate and not talk anymore. And we just ended on the fact that nobody won. They lost a lot of money in their attorneys and the whole project that was probably over 6 figures by that stage. And we lost a lot of time. And I mean, I wasn't doing blogs anymore. I basically just put the site on hold because I didn't know what was going to happen in the end. I mean, that's the thing. We're in a corporation, so they can sue the business, but they can't really sue me. So the worst case scenario is I would have had to take down my final web design. And, I'm a web builder. I'll build another website, incorporate another company. It's not the end of the world. I mean, I didn't want to do that. Final Web Design was a pretty successful online business at the time. And we basically parted ways. And that was a nightmare that I lived through for 2 years. It was horrible, man. It destroyed my drive. It destroyed my, my vision of what I wanted to do. So for 2 years, I just put the site on hold. I did a few things on the side, but nothing to that degree. We shut down the office. It was a tough time, but I'm just telling you this story because that was a horrible situation to go through, and to protect yourself if you can. A lot of people get into these projects. They have big ideas. They think everything's just we're going to be multimillionaires with their online dating website. No, they don't understand that you got to run marketing. You got to get people there. You have to do so much more than just build the site. So this is my story as far as the worst situation that I've actually taken on as a business owner. It was a nightmare, but in the end, it was a great learning experience. Always document, always take pictures, always have your emails, always have your text messages, have that information saved so that if you do get yourself into those situations, you can best address them. Try to stay out of the court system. It's expensive. Nobody really wins in the end. I mean, there's winners and losers, but it's not worth the time. You have to stay focused on positive growth. You have to stay focused on positive energy. You can't be tying yourself up in the courts and dealing with, bad clients. So that's my story, guys. If you liked it, please give a like and subscribe. If you have any questions about your business and any legal issues you might have found yourself in or how to prevent this type of stuff, let us know. And with that, we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.